There was a moment when life felt like a weight I couldn't lift. Even in the darkest moments, hope is never out of reach. Every sunrise brings a new chance to begin again. Every morning was the same. No purpose, no structure, no light. It felt like I was trapped in Neverland, king of nothing, just aimlessly drifting through days that didn't matter. Remember, every struggle is a step toward your strength. Growth often begins in the shadows. There's a moment, at your absolute lowest, when you're so exhausted from fighting yourself that the internal noise just stops. And in that sudden, stark silence, a single terrifying truth surfaces. I couldn't do this alone. For so long, I believed asking for help was admitting defeat, a final surrender. But I finally realized it wasn't weakness. It was an act of self-preservation, the first real step out of the suffocating darkness. Help arrived in forms I didn't expect. Sometimes it was medicine, a chemical handbrake to quiet the storm in my mind, and sometimes it was structure. The simple grounding act of organizing pills into a weekly dispenser became a ritual, creating a small island of order in a vast sea of chaos. And sometimes the most powerful help was human connection. The voice of a therapist, a lifeline thrown into the abyss, a friend who showed up without being asked, not with answers but just their presence. It was learning to unclench my fists, to quiet the pride that screamed I should be able to climb out on my own and actually hold on to the rope someone throws you. The climb back isn't comfortable. My old instincts scream for the familiar hiding places of isolation and procrastination. But I learned that what feels comfortable is often a trap, a cage with velvet bars. You don't pick the easy path. You grab what works, even if it's scary. You grab the tools that will actually build you up, not just numb the pain. And so, the reconstruction began. Not a grand renovation, but slow, painstaking work. I started building my life back, brick by brick. Each brick was a choice. A phone call I finally made, a walk I took. Some days, I only laid one crooked brick, but I learned to accept the imperfection. It was a start, and it was mine. Structure became my scaffolding. A job, even a small one, gave my days a rhythm. A reason to get out of bed when my mind screamed to stay hidden. The simple act of showing up and having tasks to complete anchored me in the present. After years of isolation, I cautiously reopened the door to connection, terrified of rejection, but doing it anyway. Reaching out to friends, even making small talk with strangers, felt like stepping into the sun after a long winter. Each conversation brought a warmth I had almost forgotten existed. This process taught me something profound about joy. I'd always chased it like a destination, a finish line I had to cross. But I discovered joy doesn't come from finishing. It comes from the movement itself, from the deliberate act of choosing life. It's found in celebrating the small daily victories, making the bed, finishing a cup of coffee while it's still hot, going for a walk. These tiny accomplishments pile up quietly until their collective weight feels unstoppable. The climb is never truly over, and that's okay. But the view from here is one I never thought I'd see. I am someone new, forged in the struggle. And this is what I want you to know. You are stronger than you think. Strength isn't in never falling. It's in the messy, courageous act of getting back up, again and again. Every small victory is proof that progress is possible. My mind was a hostile negotiator, its arguments for inaction endless and utterly convincing. "You're too tired," it would reason with a deceptive gentleness. "It won't make a difference anyway, so why bother? You'll only fail again." Each thought was a bar on a cage I didn't realize I was building around myself. I was trapped, a prisoner of my own internal monologue, waiting for a surge of motivation that never came. So I learned to outsmart the warden. I staged a quiet rebellion. I stopped waiting to feel like it. I didn't wait for inspiration. I acted as if it had already arrived. I decided to behave like the person I wanted to be, hoping my spirit would eventually catch up to the charade. It started with the smallest, most tangible things. I cleaned my room, not just tidying, but waging a gentle war against the chaos. I was reclaiming the space from the dust and disarray that so perfectly mirrored my inner state. Each item put away was a decision made. Each surface wiped clean was a small victory over entropy. I made my bed, transforming a symbol of inertia into a platform for a new day, a first, simple promise kept to myself. I finished tasks I'd been avoiding for weeks, the ones that loomed large in my mind but were small in reality. Each completed item was a small, quiet victory, tangible evidence that I could restore order to my own small corner of the world. At first it felt like a lie, a performance for an audience of one. I pretended to be hopeful, even when my heart was heavy with the familiar weight of doubt. I was an actor playing the part of someone who had their life together. But the small actions began to build on each other, creating their own undeniable momentum. The clean room felt calmer, more breathable. Finishing a task brought a flicker of genuine pride, a feeling I hadn't experienced in a long time. And bit by bit, the pretense of hope started to feel real, taking root in the fertile ground of action. Action, I was learning, is the most potent antidote to despair. The performance was becoming my reality, not through magic, but through the simple, undeniable physics of cause and effect. With the external chaos cleared, the internal noise quieted. The constant hum of anxiety faded. In its place, a new sound emerged. My environment, every corner of my room, every object started whispering directions I had ignored for so long. The running shoes whispered, "Move." The books whispered, "Learn." The empty journal whispered, "Create." The phone on the table whispered, "Connect." These weren't demands, they were invitations. For the first time, I truly listened. I didn't overthink it, I just responded. I put on the shoes and walked out the door. I opened the book and read a single page. I picked up the pen and wrote one true sentence, and slowly, I started moving, not with frantic energy, but with the steady, deliberate pace of purpose. This was the great revelation. For years, I had been chasing happiness, a fleeting, unpredictable visitor entirely dependent on external conditions. I realized life isn't always about feeling happy. It's about creating meaning. Meaning isn't found. It's forged. It's the home you build for yourself, stone by stone, choice by choice. Happiness would visit, of course, like a welcome guest, but it was no longer the landlord. Meaning was the structure itself, the solid foundation that remained steady when the inevitable storms of emotion passed through. With that, the weight of existence shifted from a burden to a privilege. I realized I could live a life where every choice mattered, every decision, to get out of bed, to be kind when it's difficult, to try again after failing, was a brushstroke on the canvas of my life. It was daunting, yes, but it was also profoundly liberating. My life was my own creation. I began to see my past differently, with compassion instead of judgment. My mistakes weren't just scars, they were teachers in disguise. They weren't signs of failure, but essential data points for growth. Each one carved away who I wasn't, helping to reveal the person I was meant to become. I learned to forgive myself for not knowing better then, because how could I? Wisdom isn't given. It's earned through the very stumbles I once cursed. I started to honor the entire journey, not just the triumphant moments. And responsibility, that word I used to dread, took on a new light. Responsibility wasn't a burden. It was an anchor giving me a place in the world. It was proof that my life could count for something beyond myself. It was the realization that my unique contributions were needed, that my absence would leave a void. This wasn't pressure, it was purpose. It was about showing up for others, and in doing so, truly showing up for myself. And suddenly, the chaos that had drowned me became the soil for growth. All my past struggles were not wasted. They were the compost that would nourish my future, the rich ground from which something new could spring. So I chose. Not once in a single grand gesture, but every day in 1,000 small ways. I chose to step up. I chose to take responsibility. I chose to make my actions matter, even when no one was watching. Life didn't become easy, but it became mine, fully and completely mine. And in that ownership, in that daily act of choosing, I found something far more resilient and profound than happiness. I found meaning. This power of choice is not my story alone. It is the universal human inheritance. It is the quiet strength beating in your own chest. It is yours. Your journey is unique, but the path forward is paved with the same stones of choice and action. Start where you are. Take that first small step. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it with your choice. Embrace the process, and let your unfolding story become a source of light for others to find their own way. There's a moment, a sacred pause just before sunrise. In that deep velvet stillness, the noise of yesterday finally fades, and the urgent demands of tomorrow have yet to begin. It's a rare, precious opportunity to disconnect from the many roles we play. The professional, the parent, the partner, the friend, all the masks we wear, all the expectations we carry can be gently set aside. In this space, you are invited to exist without a label, without a to-do list. It's a return to your most fundamental self. And in that return, you can begin to listen. Not to the clamor of the world's expectations, but to the quiet, persistent whisper of your own soul. This is the voice of your intuition, your deepest values. It's a voice that often gets drowned out by the static of daily life. But here, in the pre-dawn hush, it speaks clearly, reminding you of who you were before the world told you who you should be. The world is holding its breath. In that profound quiet, you can finally hear the steady rhythm of your own heart. This is the space where your true self is waiting. It's here that we find our real strength, not a loud, boastful power, but a deep, unshakable foundation. This strength fuels our perseverance. But true perseverance isn't a flawless, triumphant march to victory. It's something far more human, far more powerful. It's the profound, gut-wrenching courage to rise every single time we fall. The fall can feel like the end, a moment of sharp, shattering impact where our confidence splinters into 1,000 pieces. It's tempting to stay down, to surrender to the cold, hard logic of the ground beneath us, the voice that whispers, "You are defeated. This is where you belong." That voice is a liar. It feeds on your shock and your pain, but rising is a choice. It is a rebellion against that lie. It's the quiet dignity in pushing up from the dirt, taking another ragged breath, and deciding to move forward, even when every fiber of your being screams to give up. This single act of defiance is a declaration that your will is stronger than your wound. The fall is a chapter, but the rising is the heart of the entire story. This act of rising is a sacred promise you make to the person you are becoming, your future self. It's a quiet internal vow that says, "I will not abandon you, I will carry you through this fire." It's the reminder that even on the hardest, most desolate days, you are capable of more than you can possibly imagine. It is an affirmation, written not in ink but in the grit of your actions, that your spirit is more resilient than any external circumstance. Every single time you get back up, you are not just continuing the journey. You are actively rewriting your own narrative. You are seizing the pen from the hand of despair, tearing out the page that reads defeat, and replacing it with a bold, undeniable chapter titled Defiance. Our deepest strengths aren't revealed in the calm seas of comfort. They are forged in the fires of adversity. Like steel tempered in flame, our character is hardened and shaped by the heat of our trials. These are the hidden reservoirs of courage we only discover when we are tested, when we are pushed far beyond what we thought was our limit. Think of it this way: challenges are not there to break you. They are the pressure that reveals the diamond within. They are the chisel that carves away the non-essential, revealing the masterpiece you were always meant to be. They are there to show you and the world what you're truly made of. So you must believe in yourself with a rugged, unwavering faith. This isn't a gentle, passive hope. It's a fierce, active commitment to your own potential. It's a decision you remake every morning, especially when the path is steep and the summit is completely hidden by clouds. That fog of uncertainty can feel paralyzing. It whispers doubts, magnifies fears, and tempts you to turn back to the familiar comfort of the starting line. But it is not a wall. It's just weather. It will pass. You don't need to see the final destination to take the next single step. You just need to trust that the path exists beneath your feet. Your belief isn't in the summit. It's in your feet. Trust your capacity to keep climbing. Every small step forward is a victory. It is tangible proof of your commitment, building a powerful momentum. And when you encounter a setback, reframe it. It is not failure. It is a lesson. It's an opportunity to pause, learn, and adjust your course. You return to the path stronger and wiser. Every stumble teaches you how to walk taller. This is why you must act. Each time you choose action over hesitation, no matter how uncertain, you plant the seeds of possibility. Perfectionism tells us to wait for the perfect moment, but that moment is a mirage. The world isn't changed by those who wait for certainty. It is shaped by the brave souls who dare to begin, who embrace the messy, beautiful act of starting. If you need proof, look around. See the sunrise tearing through the night, a promise of a new beginning. See the grit etched into the smiles of those reaching their goals. Listen for the laughter after a long struggle, the music of resilience. Feel the warmth of an embrace after fear, the power of connection. These are the moments that matter. They are living proof that darkness gives way to light. And remember, you are not alone. Your path may feel solitary, but you walk with the spirit of everyone who has ever dared to try. We are all connected by an invisible thread of shared human experience, of hope, of fear, of falling, of rising, and the deep desire to become more. Lean into that connection. Every challenge you face, every dream you pursue does not happen in a vacuum. Your courage sends out a ripple, silently giving permission to someone else to be brave. Your perseverance becomes a quiet lesson for a watching world. Your effort contributes to a rising tide for everyone around you. So take that next step, right now. What is it? Writing the first sentence? Making the call? Lacing up your shoes? Do it. Trust the strength you found in the quiet. Let your actions silence your doubts. When you consistently choose to persevere, you cease to be someone searching for the light. You become the light, a guide for others still lost in darkness. This is how we rise. One person, one choice, one act of courage at a time. Your story, with all its falls, lessons, and hard-won wisdom, stops being just your own. It transforms into a beacon, a lighthouse showing others the way through their storm. Do not hide it. Share your scars, for they are maps. Share your resilience, for it is medicine. Your story is not a liability, it is your legacy. Your journey has meaning beyond your own life. Let it shine. Every journey worth taking is marked by obstacles, unexpected storms, setbacks that sting, moments that test the very core of your resolve. But here's the secret. Setbacks are not the end of your story. They are the beginning of your strength. Picture this. A runner, breathless and battered, stumbles on a rain-slicked track. A student, surrounded by crumpled pages, stares down another failed attempt. A parent, weary from sleepless nights, holds their child close and whispers, "It's okay, we'll try again." These moments of struggle are not defeats. They are the forging grounds of resilience. Resilience isn't about never falling. It's about rising with greater determination each time you do. When you face a setback, pause, breathe. Look at the challenge not as a wall, but as a doorway, a chance to learn, adapt, and grow stronger. Remember, every champion was once a beginner who refused to give up. Every great achievement was built on a foundation of perseverance. Visualize hands reaching out to help someone up, teams celebrating a hard-won victory, friends cheering each other on from the sidelines. Notice the quiet smiles of those who have overcome the tears of relief and pride, the moments of connection that make the struggle worthwhile. So how do you build this unbreakable spirit? Start small. Set a single, clear goal for today. Celebrate every win, no matter how tiny. When doubt creeps in, remember the sunrise, the promise that every day is a new beginning. Surround yourself with people who lift you higher, who remind you of your worth when you forget. Share your story, your scars and your victories, and let them be a source of hope for others. Action is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. Take that first step now. Write your goal in the comments below. Share this video with someone who needs a spark of hope. Reach out to a friend and tell them you believe in their journey. Your setbacks do not define you, your courage does. The world is waiting for your light. Stand tall, breathe deep, and move forward. The next chapter is yours to write. Begin today, be unbreakable. Imagine the world just before sunrise. A hush of anticipation, a subtle glow on the horizon. This is the moment when hope is born. After every storm, after every long night, comes a new day filled with endless possibilities. Perseverance is not just about enduring the darkness. It's about believing that the light will return, stronger and brighter than before. Close your eyes and picture a mountain climber, nearing the summit, hands, raw muscles aching, pausing at the summit as the first rays break through the clouds. Picture a painter, brush in hand, adding the final stroke to a canvas that once seemed impossible. Picture yourself, standing at the edge of your own new beginning. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a declaration. I will not give up. I will rise. Each act of kindness, each word of encouragement, each moment you choose hope over despair builds a legacy of courage. You are not alone on this path. All around you, others are fighting their own silent battles, drawing strength from every positive action, every spark of belief. Visualize hands planting seeds in fresh earth, children laughing as they chase the sun, a community joining together to rebuild after hardship. See yourself as part of this tapestry, your actions weaving hope into the lives of others. So when you doubt, remember, the dawn always comes. Your journey matters. Your dreams are worth fighting for. Take a breath, lift your head, and step forward. Let today be the day you choose possibility over fear, action over hesitation, hope over despair. You are stronger than you know. The world needs your light. Shine on and let the dawn of possibility guide you to greatness.